Using the law as a tool for social change. Conference in Stockholm, Sweden, 2018.
Working with the law as a tool is so important because we want to have social change, and we feel that we've tried so many other things and it isn't working. We're not getting that social change. So we're hoping and thinking and believing that using the law as a tool for the change that we'll actually get there. We need people to know about the UN CRPD. I mean, it's been ratified in Sweden already in 2007, but if you ask the everyday person on the street, they have no idea what the UN CRPD is and rights of disabled people. I mean, our rights are universal rights. It's just that we all access society together. There's a lot of work to be done. We're glad that you're all here to help us do this work.
We have a new international convention on the rights of persons with disabilities that very importantly includes the requirement that governments closely work with and collaborate with disabled people and their movement. We can influence the lawmaking and try to make sure that it's a very good law.
This morning I got a free cup of coffee in the hotel, and the reason was the lack of accessibility in the hotel. Even if we would have strong laws on disability rights, be it welfare services or non-discrimination, the law in itself does not help. You need to use the law as a tool, and you need to take the cases to the court, and there the law comes to life.
The successful case was with the Ministry of Education, which we took to court 13 years ago for not providing access for disabled children to be together with their peers. And it took us a couple of years until the Supreme Court of the country ruled in favor of our petition that yes, there is discrimination. And it wasn't until last year, 2017, that such regulation has been drafted and adopted by the government. So it takes ages, but this is what I call social change.
That is the way how the society functions and also changes through single litigation cases. Of course, when you talk about one person who is affiliated in the case, it's 100% victory if you win the case. But it has an effect on the general society as well.
So what we do is we do private fundraising. Sometimes we're lucky and they give us money enough to hire a few good lawyers and to take on a few cases each year. 18 of our cases have been litigated all the way up to the highest courts, and we've had success in all of those 18 cases where we have been able to help the people that we have represented, but also change the law for the better for a lot of people.
The major challenge for us is lack of resources. And we do have our own lawyers, but we should be 10 times more. And what we have done is that we have started coalitions and cooperations with law firms and also with universities.
One is we work hand in glove with community organizations of people with disabilities. We don't look at the question of is there a legal right? We look at the question of is there a wrong and what can we do to remedy it?
For instance, if you say none of the subways in New York City, or very few, are wheelchair accessible, if you also talk to people about it being not accessible to strollers, or people who can't walk easily carrying a suitcase, then you gain a coalition.
What is good for people with disabilities is good for everybody.
Disabled people are not asking for special rights. They're asking for the same right that others take for granted.
When you look at the history of trans rights in Sweden, you can see that most rights actually have come through strategic litigation. It has not come through advocacy.
Litigation is not a substitute for your social consensus approach. It's not a substitute for a highly developed social model. It's an aid to it.
What is the common features of European law in the different countries? How do these law systems interact? I would argue that this is also an area in which we could cooperate a lot more, especially within the European countries, to map what is the law under the European Convention, where is the right to support under this system.
Many governmental agencies still rating to disabilities issues as an issue of services and not as a human rights issue. My country, Israel, has ratified the UN CRPD since many years, but this convention is not enough internalized, and this is our role as NGOs to continue to raise the awareness to this important legal document.
You need courage to challenge power. You need money, and you need friends and allies, and you need to have a conception in your mind that this is about human rights.
One of the problems in Sweden, at least, is that municipalities, they don't realize that in regards to human rights conventions, they are part of the state. That's another reason why civil society organizations have to bring political pressure at the local level to make sure that local governments realize that they are part of the state in that situation.
If we want to use law as a tool, the tool isn't really one tool, it's basically a toolbox. Because there's different laws, there are different legal levels, there are different court systems there, and it's an international law which is basically not the same as the national, and there's court systems within the national levels, and they're all centers of power, and we're all trying to negotiate our lives through them.
It's a process of both collaborating with the authorities, which I think is very important, but also take the authorities to court if they do not fulfill what they have promised in the law.
Power comes from using those laws. Power comes from being able to calmly say, see you in court.
Read more at independentliving.org. Go to The Law as a Tool. Visit our Swedish website, lagensamverktyg.se. Join the Facebook group Law as a Tool.